You'll never understand me.
So look at you, right?
You are a handsome bastard.
That is fake news.
Yeah, just look at me though.
Jeez, okay.
So, first of all, let's start off with your introduction into the paranormal field.
Okay. In life, people are called to be many different things. Some are called to be doctors who battle illness and disease. Some are lawyers who fight against injustice and wrongdoings. Others are called to be preachers and teachers, hoping to share the message of salvation through their religious convictions. This is my calling. Hey, Annie. So I've been feeling kind of down lately, and you've opened this door before. I hate bothering you with my problems, right? Because I know in life you had your own. If the door is always open to talk to you, will you open that door for me? I'll Thank you, sweetheart. You are the best. When my mother died, well, let me rewind. When my father died in 2001, he had lung cancer. About a month or so before that, I was laying in bed one day, and I look up, and I see this white fluorescent gown figure in my room. I couldn't tell if it was male or female. I freak out. So I'm like, just close your eyes, go to sleep, you'll be fine. So I laid there, covered up, and I just peeped out. And when I peeped out, it was reaching out to me like that. I freaked. I ran screaming to my mother. I was 16, like 3-year-old status, right? Just screaming and crying. That was my first ever paranormal experience.
So man, I think the first time that I met Ron was back in February, if I'm remembering correctly. And I remember he and Kayla had showed up here to the manor just for a tour. They had seen this on Paranormal Lockdown and they wanted to check it out for themselves, just with it being so close. And I remember like Ron coming in, and you could tell like when I was giving my tour and like doing the whole spiel and all that stuff, like Ron was kind of skeptical, like more of a guarded skeptic, right? I remember then like kind of letting them go off and do their own thing after I had given the tour. And then, you know, they come down and I mean, Ron was full of questions. Like he had all these questions that he was, I mean, you could tell he was genuinely interested in the subject matter. Not only like just paranormal investigating in general, but the history of this place and the clientele that resided here and the people that worked here and all of that stuff. So it was really, really cool to see that excitement, right?
This whole documentary is about me being called to this building. Kayla, again, was watching Paranormal Lockdown, and she said, that's 15 minutes from where I work. Cool story, bro. Didn't care. And then I heard the story of Inez Gibson, and it 1,000% changed my life. And I said, I have to go help this little girl. Now, looking back, it's very odd that I would say that because I have a mother, a father, aunts, uncles, grandparents that have all passed over. I don't try to communicate with them. I don't try to help them. But when I heard her story, I have to be there. I never set out to be an investigator. It wasn't on my to-do list in life, but again, I've said it before. On the way over here, I said one or two things are going to happen. One, I just blew $10 on a day tour. Or two, I'm going to get my ass handed to me. And when I walked through that infamous front door, it felt like a huge hug. And they've not let go. Inez, are you here with me? If you are, will you please turn on the flashlight? Thank you, honey.
Ron kind of goes about this in a different manner than what I've seen with the typical team, right? So a typical team will come in here and they will ask a very standard battery of questions or whatever. Now, Ron goes about this in a little different manner, and Ron will basically develop a relationship with these spirits, with these entities, whatever you want to call them. It's really, really cool to see this happen. Some of the best evidence that I've ever seen coming out of like Inez's room, for an example, has all been from Ron. Ron being able to just pose a question and then have something happen, elicit a response with just that question. That right there takes an insane amount of time and an insane amount of trust to develop a relationship like that with something on the other side. That's impressive, because that doesn't happen very often. Not in anything that I've experienced before, not like that. But for Ron to be sitting in a chair, for example, like he's sitting in a chair and he asks, could you open this door? And the door will open. And could you close the door? The door will close. Can you turn on this flashlight over here? And then it'll pop on. And it's not just like one of those flashlights that you can twist the end on to make it barely connect or whatever. I mean, we're talking one of the bigger flashlights that have a click button on the top. I mean, it's impressive. Like, how does that happen? But I've seen, not just Inez's room with Ron or whatever, but I have noticed him be able to do that and elicit that same type of response, like in Gracie's room, for an example, down in the Shadow Man hallway, for an example. This is impressive stuff. It really is. And so I think we all could learn a little something about how to approach investigation, especially like kind of how Ron approaches an investigation. I think we could all learn something very important from Ron.
Can you do them again?
Gracie, can you do the flashlights again for us?
Can you do it for me, Gracie? Please? Thank you! Wow! Thank you, Gracie. Everybody give Gracie I'm so proud of you, Gracie. Thank you. All right, Gracie. So 2 years ago, I started coming here. In my very first overnight investigation, you turned on 2 flashlights at one time. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Good job.
Wow. I didn't have an approach. I knew hurting people lived here. And as a hurt person, I just talked to them on their level. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to criticize you. I have felt your pain. I understand it. And I apologize for people treating you the way they have. because it's not okay. You know, I think about we're in the shadow hall and I think about the shadow man. Yes, he has charged people, but you have to understand this guy was allegedly nonverbal, and he was put in a room that was quite small. And to be in a room that small, nonverbal, it would have to be hard. He's so misunderstood. You know, thinking about his situation makes me angry. It's so tragic. It's absolutely tragic. And honestly, I believe because I've thought about it. Who has this guy charged? He's came at you, he's came at Hauser. And when you look at the people he's really came at, they're actually pretty good people for the most part. So my thing is he really being a dick? Or is he actually coming to you for help? And that anger and frustration that you feel when you are attacked, is that because are you picking up on his feeling? Is he frustrated because he needs help and he doesn't know how to communicate that? So this guy, a lot of people are curious as to who he is, and some of them, I feel like he's truly misunderstood.
I absolutely believe that he is misunderstood.
You know, this guy comes to me in my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
If I have been here a lot, I'm like, I'm gonna take a break, and no matter what I'm dreaming, I will be picked up out of that dream, put in the hallway, to where we communicate. When he's done, taken out of the dream, put back where I was. And in about a day, like the next day, he'll call and say, hey bro, can you give tours at the manor? Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
He's absolutely misunderstood. And one of the first times that I was down here, I actually took the time to kind of work my way down the hallway and get to know him and just build that trust.
Right.
And it was slow. I mean, it took a long time. I'd start and I'd sit at the end of the hallway and just talk to him a little bit. And then I'm like, well, can I move just a little bit closer?
Yeah.
And so I'd move 5 or 10 feet closer. So it took a long time. But through the course of talking to him and just trying to understand how he ended up here and trying to figure out why he feels he needs to be so aggressive, basically what he had told me is that from as early as he can remember, his mom was just horribly abusive to him. And I mean, you hear about child, them hurting their children, and this goes so far beyond what I can even imagine being done to a child. And he didn't know anything other than to try to defend himself. He finally got big enough that he did defend himself.
Right.
And that's how he ended up here, because at that point he became an orphan.
Got you.
But yeah, any adult that ever approached him from his upbringing hurt him. So it was self-protection. He feels that's the only way to keep himself safe is by chasing the people away from him.
Wow.
So, but he's the description the physical descriptions that everybody has got of him is pretty accurate. He is a big guy.
Yeah.
Probably 6'7", 6'8", and just
he's
a big guy,
Right.
but he's the biggest teddy bear,
Right.
He just wants people to be nice to him. And I think that's part of what bugs me. Not because I don't think you guys are doing a great job of like trying to let people know that he's not dangerous, but people hear the stories of the Shadow Man, so they'll come into this hallway and like, you chase people, are you going to chase me? And it's like, just leave him alone. Say hi, say hello,
Right.
Be nice to him.
Right. So, I come here all the time. I feel like he is one of the people that protect me here, so to speak.
Yeah.
Would you know anything about that? Would you be able to?
He said, well, yeah, you're family.
Sweet. I appreciate that,
Yeah, so
buddy.
are you.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate that. When I first came here, I got chills. When I first came here, it was, I try to take that approach that everyone does. You know what I mean? Because like I said before, I give tours here, and I just want to portray these people in the best light, to let their story be told, you know, because that's what matters most.
Right.
Like he said, we're family. Like, I care about this place. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
just.
And he does. And I've had people ask me before when I've been sharing the story about him, because I share this story with people quite
Yeah.
a bit about him, because it was changing for me, you know, to
Yeah.
take that story, and that's what I try to do, is share those stories. So to be able to take that story of the scary shadow man that hurts people and make
Right.
it something that's not at all what's going on here. I think that's one of the questions that I get, is why is he still here then? You know, because, and I get that question not just about him, but about other people at different locations. Why did they stay here?
Right.
For him, this was home. This was his safe space.
Yeah.
This is, you know, I mean,
Right.
he came from the worst experience of his life
Yeah.
to a place where maybe he was still scared, but he was safe. He never got hurt,
Right.
you know, and he built
Right.
that trust.
Right.
Oddly enough, even with some of the nurses that he would chase, he built that trust.
Right.
So,
Right.
this was where he was safest.
Malvern Manor is a reality to me that I don't think a lot of people understand. I was called here, and I was called here because I truly feel like pain recognizes pain. I went to Inez's room that night. When I sat down in that room over 2 years ago, I didn't ask, will you turn the flashlight on? Will you move this? I sat there and I said, you know what, sweetheart? I heard your story, and I want to let you know that I've been hurt. I've been done wrong. I've felt this way. I felt that way. Did I know she was listening? No. But I didn't want to risk that if she was. And since then, we have formed a relationship that means more to me than I can even put into words. This is the room that brought me, this is the girl that brought me to Malvern Manor. You said she's already trying communicating with you, and
She was here. She was here when I came.
Yeah.
She's very excited.
Hey,
she
honey.
loves you. She loves your energy. She loves your respect. We were talking it downstairs a little bit. She's very feisty.
Very.
She was feisty as a child.
Yeah.
And she is feisty now.
Right.
Okay, so she's telling me, because I'm trying to, because I remember that at one time there was some question about her hanging herself.
Yeah.
Here. She's telling me that it didn't happen here.
Yeah.
She is here. She's not always here, but she's always here when you're here because
Yeah.
she really likes you.
Yeah.
She's here because she gets attention
Yeah.
and she gets people care about her here.
Yeah.
She gets toys, she gets
Mm-hmm.
played with, she gets, and these are things that she really didn't get as a human child. So there's more, she's getting the things that she didn't really get as a human.
Right.
And she's getting them now.
You know, when I heard the story of Inez Gibson again, I just wanted to help. For me, I never thought about how Inez died because that doesn't define who she was as a person. I wanted to go and say, you're still loved, you're still cared about, you're still thought of. And I've done my best. I've bought Christmas gifts. This past year, in the middle of the summer, I said, I'm going to have her birthday party. And that whole week, leading up to her birthday party, I seen images and flashes in my head of how she passed away. These were not my thoughts. This was very vibrant pictures that shook me. I thought I had been doing this too long, like, you need to really back away. And we were at the party, and another medium was there, and she confirmed everything that I saw. And, it was hard for me because, no matter how she died, whether suicide, accidental death, another thing, it's a life lost at 12 years old. And I think about my life, and when I look at our lives, it's parallel. We've both went through a lot of the same stuff. We've both felt the same ways. And I've often carried that guilt since knowing her, that I've somehow managed to make it and she didn't. But coming here, I genuinely believe that she doesn't want blame put on anyone. She doesn't want... All she wants people to know is that her passing, she had nothing to do with her passing. She had zero to do with her passing. And I never knew this. I never looked at newspaper articles online. But when I began to look at the newspaper articles, because then I'm like, well, what does history say? Because history is kind of hard to debunk. And when I went to the newspapers and read all these articles, they're inconsistent. One newspaper said she was despondent. She was not doing well in school. Another newspaper said that she was happy the day of her passing and talking to her pet parrot. And she made hundreds on a lot of her tests. One article said that it was a suicide. Another said it was an accidental death. And at the end of the day, for me, how she died and how it should be for anyone, it's not about her death. It is about her being here in this moment and doing what we can to help make her afterlife the best way possible.
So Inez is actually another one that it was very frustrating to me, because for a long time coming out here, she would not talk to me. It was the weirdest experience, because it wasn't until I actually finally listened to part of the tour when I was here with somebody else, and then Josh was showing everybody around doing the tour.
Right.
And that was the first I'd really come and listened to the presentation.
Yeah.
And as he was sharing her story with everybody else, she was sharing the real story with me. And it was
Tough.
It was hard.
It
It
was
was.
brutal.
And I'd asked her as she was sharing it with me, I said, can I share that with Josh? And you and I were not friends the way we are now, so I didn't know to share it with you at the time. But
she ultimately did. Remember?
She did,
It was
yeah,
her birthday
yeah.
party. I was having these thoughts and visions up to her birthday party, and I said, Jesus Christ, I'm losing my mind. Because this was not a part of the tour.
Mm-hmm.
This was something that no one would ever imagine.
Right.
Crazy. But the fact that she shared that is... And you're the only person I've told.
And she's still... She's very torn on if she wants that to be shared, because I think she's comfortable with the people in the room knowing the details, but obviously people have been out here enough and have had equipment enough that she knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And she's not 100% sure. And that's okay, honey.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
The biggest things that she wants people to know is that they're there are facts of the story that are shared that are correct. Or details of the story that are accurate with some slight changes. She wants people to know she did not kill herself. That was not her or her act
Right.
that did that.
Right. Yeah.
She's like, people pity me.
And she doesn't like that.
She does not like that at all. Which I think is a little bit of the reason she doesn't want all of her stories shared.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want people to pity her. And but people are hearing the story and thinking that poor little 12-year-old girl was so miserable she thought nothing was going to fix it,
Right.
so she killed herself. And she did not. She says she fought.
I feel like her death was a cover-up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was someone's,
Politics, really.
it was someone's way of hiding what was going on,
Mhm.
or what had been going on. I think she was trying to
Yeah.
make it stop,
Mm-hmm.
but honey, I don't know how to share anymore without sharing.
You know, we've talked about this a lot, and this has become a lighthouse. You know, let me ask you a question. When someone wants to grow up to be an aspiring actor, where do they go? You follow the cameras. You go to where your voice is going to be heard. She's a Malvern girl. There's a lot of voices in this place, and they knew one day they would be heard. And I truly, genuinely believe that's why she came here.
Now, as far as the night that we were filming the Estes method scene, and we were down there, excuse me, we were down there with Ron, obviously, and Hauser was there, Paul was there. Something was weird anyway that night. Like, it just felt odd.
Doing sensory deprivation or overload?
Which one are we? It's the It's the one where we put in.
He wants to try the Estes method. So somebody would be sitting in a room asking questions. Another person would be elsewhere listening to a device similar to like an SB7 with earphones, and so not aware of the questions he's answering or asking, excuse me, and then just calling out any words that they may hear.
Stick you down there and have you do it. You know.
See, I don't like that because I have a feeling that by the time this is done, I'm going to end up naked and afraid in the middle of Main Street.
Well, I see this as your connection to the place.
Well, for Inez, yes, but I mean, if I can do the shadow hall and someone asks the questions, you know, but you're connected to the shadow hall too, though.
Not as much as you are.
I don't.
How about we start off with just you, and then as it goes on, then I'll throw earbuds in something, and we can do one on each end, and like start it off with one, and then work into.
Okay. Yeah, I could do it one way, and he could do it the other way. I mean, it doesn't, you know, whatever you guys want to do.
I say we start off. I think it'd be interesting to start off with one, and then see what kind of reaction we're getting, and then add another person in the mix to see if it changes up the dynamic.
Right.
So, you could be getting tons of answers and throw me in the mix, and it just goes way in a whole different direction. Because I'm very much into everybody's in their own journey.
Right.
And I see this as your journey with the manor.
Right. Okay. I respect that. I appreciate that. I can do that. So.
Have fun.
Hello, hello. I brought someone for you to talk to. Your old pal Hauser.
It's really heavy down this area.
A little bit.
Supercharged.
Yeah. I'll do it right here, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, Malvern. Got my buddy Ron down here. Do you like him being in the manor all the time?
Ron. Shush.
Does he have a special connection with Inez?
Yes, sirree, maybe?
Is it really Inez he has a connection with, or is it something else in here?
Snookerhead.
So you know who I am. We've established that. I want to talk about Ron.
Poor Ron.
Why is it poor Ron? Do you like him?
Ron.
So he says he's never seen the Shadow Man. Will you show yourself to him sometime?
No.
Why not?
Something upset me.
Did he upset you?
No.
Then why wouldn't you show yourself to him?
No.
Ron's a good friend of mine, and he's invested a ton into this place. A ton of emotion. And I just want to make sure, like, that's being reciprocated to him. You have a message for Ron?
I think you just said Inez.
Does Inez have a message for Ron? Everybody has a story. We just want to hear yours.
Remember Xmas? Pussy?
I just got sick feeling bad. What about Xmas? Was that you, Gracie? That was loud.
Enough.
What do you want to talk about?
Was enough. Nervous.
Are you nervous? We want to know who you are and what your story is.
Remember Xmas? Unleash. Enough.
Nervous.
Okay.
Nervous.
Okay. I get it. I'm not going to keep quizzing you.
No.
Understood. I'm going to put the headphones in. And my friend Paul's going to ask some questions. Okay?
Does
Paul.
Ron make you nervous?
No.
Does Inez like it when Ron visits?
Yes.
Are there others here that don't like when Ron comes to the manor?
Sure. Maybe.
Who doesn't like Ron?
Myself.
And your name is?
Leave.
Well, maybe if you told us who you were, we would consider leaving, but not yet.
Heard 'em. Monday night.
Would you consider going down to the end of the hall
Nervous.
there and touching Ron on his shoulder?
Yeah.
Okay, go do it. I'm sure it'll be okay.
Heard 'em.
I'll leave.
So it sounds like we are here annoying you. Is that correct?
Leave.
Who is saying
Pussy.
leave? Who is telling us to leave? Why do you want us to leave? I don't know where that's coming from.
You heard that too?
Yes.
Us.
I'm hearing a noise. Is that you making
No.
that noise? Can you call out some names of?
Inez.
Okay. Inez. Is there anybody here with Inez?
She knows something.
Guys.
Let's see. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is that rolling?
Was.
Okay.
You know.
Did you affect Josh?
Being back there, filming, I thought I had like the easiest job in the world. It's like, oh, put a camera up here and just sit, record and document whatever you're about to see, whatever is going to happen. I started feeling funny. Initially, I remember it feeling like something is watching me. Something is like watching me very intently. And that didn't feel very welcoming, regardless. Now, I mean, I'm here every day, so for that to feel the way it did, it was very odd. I remember feeling like I was being watched on either side, and then I remember starting to sweat, and then I remember an extreme nauseous feeling in my stomach. It was very odd. I usually don't react that way. I don't really get sick that often. It was just very odd how everything kind of just came all at once, and it was in one fell swoop. It's like, here it is. And I remember like having to put down the camera, and I said something to Paul. I don't know if I actually said it or if I mouthed it, but I remember I was like pointing to my stomach, trying to let Paul know, hey, something's not right with my guts. I need to go address this now. But I remember running to the bathroom. And I got sick. I mean, that's what happened. I got sick. It was ridiculous. And after that, I felt fine. I felt better, you know. I hadn't eaten anything out of the ordinary. It doesn't make sense to me why I was physically reacting the way I was. That doesn't happen to me. So for that, it really threw me for a loop, honestly. It kind of scared me, to be quite honest with you. It kind of scared me. Usually I don't have that kind of a reaction, especially in this house where I'm fairly familiar with anything that's really going on. So it was very, very interesting to me.
Did you affect Josh?
Yeah.
Why?
Yes.
Okay, that's two yeses from both guys here. All right.
Threw up.
Well, he's back.
I'm here.
I don't know if we should pull him out of this.
You know,
I think so.
Because I was starting to
Heard
feel
him?
sick just in the 10 minutes I was doing. He's
we're
going to
heard over
Yeah.
nightmare,
He's going to be like,
Yeah. Let's go.
lost furniture. Get Ron. Yep. Get Ron.
Ron, hey,
Hey, bud.
we're calling it.
Huh?
We're going to pull you out of this one.
Okay.
You've been in there a long time.
Sweet. Alrighty. What did we discover?
It's like I was having when I was doing it, it's just like a full-on conversation. I'd ask it just boom, boom, boom.
Right.
Boom. I don't know if we've come up with anything.
I don't know, but I think you were having a full-on conversation for sure. And if we continued a little bit.
It was just like pussy.
Right.
You might ask questions, snookerhead.
There were times you guys were giving the same response. I don't know if you guys didn't know that.
Really?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Towards what?
But just, I remember a yes or no question, and you both said yes almost simultaneously.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
The Estes method was something I'd always wanted to try. It's something that really intrigued me. I have seen a lot of people come through the doors of this place with their teams, and they would go especially down to the shadow hall where they would communicate, and normal conversation would end with screaming and crying and so much emotion. I'm like, screw that, I don't want no part of it. But going into this situation, I was with a lot of people that I trusted, professionals in the field. So I thought, why not? So I got Johnny Hauser here, Paul, who's an amazing tech guy, Josh filmed it, and we went down to the shadow hall where we done the Estes method. It started off with just me doing solo, answering questions, and then Johnny got in on the fun, and it was outstanding. He was on one end of the hall, I was on the other. Questions were asked, and the same responses, boom, 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 boom. I've never seen it work like that before, and it was very amazing. What kind of creeped me out is I have no recollection of what I said whatsoever. It's like I just blanked out. I was very shocked to find out what happened to Josh during our experiment because I had absolutely no idea. I remember sitting there. You have that feeling of someone over you. It did not scare me. It almost felt more like a protection. I never felt threatened, not once. However, I would not do it by myself either. You know, again, I have seen a lot of people mentally destroyed in this place from doing the Estes method. The things that I said, no idea I said them. No idea whatsoever. I could not hear Hauser. Hauser could not hear me. But it's yes, yes. Name call, name call. It was truly, truly outstanding. And I want you to tell the story. I want you to say how you were treated. If you want to say who she is. Oh, shadow go that way. If you want who she is. Who she is. Who she is. If you want to say who she is, that is fine. John, I understand that you're falling off. I understand that you lived here. I understand that you lived in that room. They say that you're nonverbal. Is that true? What am I looking at? John, I'm going to ask you questions that people need to know. He is done. No more. John, please just answer a few questions, pal. I will get out of your hair. I will not be a pain. It said redemption. That's pretty cool. John, were you nonverbal? Yeah. You know, pal, people come down here and they tempt you, they try you, they call you names, they make you angry, and I want to let you know that makes me angry. You are a person, John, and I'm sorry that they've done that to you. I'm sorry they hurt you. I'm sorry they get under your skin, because this is your home as long as you want it to be. John, do you enjoy chasing people down the hall? Do you like me being here? Miss you. I'm a visitor. John, when I don't come here, I have dreams of you in my sleep where we meet in this hall. And then a couple days later, I have to come to give a tour or something. Is that you calling me here? Us. So there's more than one person that calls me here. Is there anything you want to say, John, before I leave? No. All right, buddy. Listen to me.
I appreciate you. And I appreciate you talking to me. I appreciate you trusting me. I appreciate you letting me have this conversation with you. Have a good night, okay, John? John, before I leave, I have one question. I have this video on my phone. Okay? Now, in this video was taken right here in this hallway. I want to play this for you, and I'm going to ask you a question. Now, this video was in the hall, right here. There's nothing going on. Was that you, John? Yes? Okay. That's what I sound like. Don't apologize. Okay. Okay, buddy. Well. You answered my questions. I appreciate that. You are amazing. John, you have a good night, okay, pal? That's what I want people to realize, that, you know, it's not about her death. It's, you know, we're not walking into the stage of ghost busters. We're here trying to help real people. You know, this could be someone's mom, grandma, aunt, uncle. Treat them as such. Try to use the dowsing rods. Inez, if you're here, sweetheart, will you please cross for yes? Thank you. If you are nervous with all of these people, and it's okay to be nervous. If you're nervous with all of these people in here, will you separate? Thank you. You know, we're not here to hurt you. Actually, I'm here to tell your story. We've talked about your story. I know your story. And if anything else, we just want proof that you did exist and you still exist and you live here. Okay? Let me ask you a question. Cross for yes, separate for no. And be completely honest with me. I won't get mad. Do you trust me? I would never do anything to hurt you. Neither would these guys.
You guys hear that?
Yeah.
It was very audible. Paul, I know that came across on your recorder.
I'm sure
Super muffled, like. Ooh.
That sounded like it was either in this room or just directly out that door.
Sweetheart, if that was you, will you cross for yes for me? If it wasn't, separate for no.
I heard some thumping through. Coming from the attic.
It's dark as shit. I can't see a thing. You got anything out there?
Just gonna stand. You hear that? See, I'm hearing
That
some.
was over here?
I'm hearing some footsteps too.
That was crazy.
It's more like cat and mouse crap.
Well, yeah, it's getting you guys out of the room.
Right. So maybe,
Not trying to sound rude.
do you think that would be something like beneficial then? Just maybe take us out of the equation, or?
I mean, whatever you guys want to do, it's...
I think you should try to communicate.
I think
Okay.
so.
'Cause
Let me just set this up real
Okay.
quick, if that's cool.
Okay. Turning the light on means yes. Are you glad that I'm here tonight? Are you glad that I'm here to talk to you? Thank you. That means a lot. I appreciate that. So I'm going to ask you another question, sweetheart, because I'm pretty sure I know the answer. You're confused as to what's going on, aren't you? If you're confused as to what's going on, will you turn that light on? And I know it takes a lot of energy probably to do it. So if you turn the light on one more time, I will not ask you to do that again. Are you confused as to what we're doing? Okay, my next question, do you understand what we're doing? Okay. Okay. You have shared your story with me. And I know when you first shared it with me, I almost lost my mind, right? I apologize for that because when I was your age, I didn't have a lot of friends. I was that fat kid that was picked last, and you know, I just wasn't used to that. And now I have friends, which is amazing, but to have a little 12-year-old friend that cares about me, that comes to visit me at my house, that's pretty spectacular. You know what I mean? Honey, I won't leave, but if you could open that door, you know it won't scare me. I know it's you. It would never scare me. I just want people to see what you can do. You know what I mean? I'm proud to be your friend, Inez. It means a lot. When I think about your life and the things that you've been through, I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. I appreciate everything you do. I appreciate you looking out for me here. I appreciate you being my friend. I appreciate you letting me throw you a birthday party. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to ask you one more question, okay? And then I'm going to probably let you go because it's probably past your bedtime. If you're glad that I love you and I care about you and I come to see you, will you turn that light on? Over the past 2 years, the Malvern Manor has changed my life. It has introduced me to a whole new faith in the universe, a faith in myself. It's provided me with a family, people I consider family, friends, and honestly, I feel like I have a hell of a lot brighter future. Do you think that I have been a positive? Do you think I have been as a positive influence to them as they have me?
I definitely do. In regards to Inez, I know that she had been waiting for you to tell her story. And now that her story has been told, her energy has even changed from the typical personality and energy that a 12-year-old child would have, right, to something that is a lot less heavy, more mature, and definitely more at peace. Really? So she was able to leave behind what was keeping her here, and actually evolve the way she needed to evolve. That's as amazing. A spirit.
Speaking of Inez, you in the original walkthrough said she doesn't seem like the kind that would follow me home. Later that evening, you called me with a whole new opinion.
I did.
What happened?
I did. She followed me home. She followed me home. In the typical 12-year-old personality, she followed me home. She caught a ride with me. That was one of many conversations that I have had with her over the last few months. But during that ride, she told me that she was angry at me. Really? During the walkthrough, I had asked, and I think you were there, I had asked her to just stay.
Yeah, because she was right there in the beginning.
She wanted it included right away. And I had asked her to maybe hold off and not follow us because I wanted to get a truer sense of the other energies in the home. Well, and then when we went to her room and we were talking about her passing, I think that upset her a little bit. And so I had an experience that I have never experienced before, ever. And I've been doing this many, many years. It was almost as if she completely just unplugged me. Really? Suddenly, quickly, and I was just drained of energy. I was confused. I seriously thought I might possibly faint. So when she appeared to me, that was one of the things that we discussed is how angry she was at me. That's and amazing. We kind of settled our little differences right there.
So she does follow me. She does follow me.
She didn't follow you from the manor.
Right.
I believe that she was already here with you. I believe that she was here when you watched the documentary. Nothing is a coincidence. Right. And I think that you have watched many, many episodes of many, many shows.
Right.
But this one resonated with you.
And see, that has always been a question to me. If you drive 30 more minutes, you have Villisca where 6 children passed away a terribly sad death. I never felt called there.
Right.
But Malvern Manor, in fact, I watched the story of Villisca 10 years ago maybe. But Malvern Manor had to be there, had to go there.
Exactly.
Her death, without getting too deep, when we were first there, she told you a story. Because I always told her before filming, you do not have to tell the story. You can, tell them what you want them to know, because this is your truth. I want your truth told. And how it's almost like the car thing where she just came to you one day, because I never told you. No offense, I said if she's a good medium and if Inez wants her story told, she will tell. You called me one day, and what did you say to me?
I told you that she had told me the truth, and that she didn't go into a lot of detail. Because it wasn't important.
Right.
The story, the message that she wanted to give was that she had not done this to herself.
Right.
And that was the purest sense of message to me.
Yeah. And when she told me that it wasn't an accident and it wasn't a suicide.
Right.
I had never, she was the first spirit to ever really speak to me in flashes of pictures, and it was unbelievable. I thought the cheese was slipping off my cracker. I'd never experienced anything like that before. So the fact that she told you that, the fact that she told the other medium the same thing, the fact that she told me, is pretty outstanding. And the fact that she doesn't want justice. She does, she cares about her truth.
Yes.
She doesn't care about who done it, why they done it, how. She just wants her truth.
Yes.
And that's amazing. That is a beautiful heart.
It is.
Because when I go to the manor, you have a 12-year-old girl who really, in my opinion, died too soon. With her personality, she could have been president. She had every reason to be angry, to be bitter, to be upset, but yet she's so playful and lovable. It says a lot about her as a person.
It does.
And the last question I have for you is, and this is important, what do you feel Inez wants her legacy to be?
I think that Inez's biggest wish is that she continue to be a part of your life.
Always.
And that you continue to share your life with her.
She's actually going to have a special place at our wedding.
Oh, wonderful.
Absolutely.
That is wonderful. I think that she needed you. She needed you to be her voice. She waited a long time for that. I don't think that she would want to be remembered as the ghost that haunted Malvern Manor, but more a child who lost her life too soon and wanted very much to have her story told.
Yeah. A happy child.
Yes.
With a lot of love. And even in her afterlife, she has a lot of love. She probably still goes to the manor. Wouldn't you think?
I do.
Because there's a lot of people there that love her and care for her. And I'm having her one more birthday party to kind of a send-off, to a celebration of life and legacy, just to let her know how special she really truly is. Today, I put flowers on Inez's grave. Not because I believe she's there. I know she isn't. However, I decorate her grave because I never want the people of Malvern or those passing through to forget that there was a girl named Inez Gibson. She played on these streets. She lived, she laughed, she loved, and she's changed many people's lives. Mine included. If the door is always open to talk to you, will you open that door for me? I'll Thank you, sweetheart. You are the best.